Video. All right, we're good. Here we go. Starts in 3, 2, 1.
A fire was lit underneath a pew, but it did not spread beyond that pew. I hadn't heard that.
Oh, I'm doing a bag of salad.
It's the world of tomorrow today. This is the morning stream.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to TMS. It's the morning stream for Thursday, July 16th, 2020. I'm Scott Johnson, and Brian Ibbett here as well. Hi. Good morning.
We're now in the downward half of July.
Yep.
We've gone uphill. Yesterday we plateaued. Now we're going down.
That's
going
right.
down, everybody.
Oh, going down. Put your heads between your legs. Hey, this is my new favorite clip of Brian.
Oh, I'm doing a bag of salad.
I think that's great.
I'm doing a bag of salad.
I'm doing a bag of salad. Say, hey, Brian, you coming with us?
Oh, I'm doing a bag of salad.
All right. Great. Are you? What are you doing on Sunday?
Oh, I'm doing a bag of salad.
See, it works for anything. You can just answer it.
What's all that noise coming from the bedroom? Oh, I'm doing a bag of salad.
Oh, sorry to the one guy who hates it when I clap on the show. There's a guy that complains whenever I do it. Yeah, I can't help it because when something's funny, I just do it. But
instinctively do that.
Yeah, he doesn't like it. He sends.
Loud. Well, it is. I get that. It's a loud, sharp noise in a microphone. You don't hear it.
I don't hear it the same. Yeah, people on the other end. Well, I guess I do hear it, but it's not that loud.
An abrupt noise.
Yeah, nobody wants an abrupt noise. No. Everybody wants.
Oh, I'm doing a bag of salad.
That they want to hear that. That's what they want.
That's what they come for. Come for the bag of salad. Stay for the clapping.
Yep. There you go. All right, we are going to. Someone clipped that. Of course they did. All right, we're going to do a show. That's just the deal. That's just the way it is, and we're glad to be here. It's Thursday. It's the last TMS day of the week because I'm taking tomorrow off. And there's nothing else, okay? So just don't count on anything. There's nothing
That's right,
else.
Exactly. If you want your opportunity to say happy birthday to Scott, this is it. Today is it.
This is your chance, because tomorrow I'm going off. I'm going off the grid. But
sure.
But
not
also
going to tweet. Not going to tweet at all.
Oh, I'll probably tweet sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, of course you will.
You know, you saw that what happened yesterday because you're also a verified account. You couldn't tweet for about 4 hours. Do you remember that, or did you hear that yesterday?
No, I didn't. No, I don't tweet enough to really notice stuff like that. I'm horrible at my social media game. It's my social media game not on fleek.
Well,
I found out.
This is what happened. Bill Gates, Apple, Uber, Kanye West, Joe Biden,
Barack
Obama, whole bunch of people, whole bunch of big high name people. Elon Musk was one of the big ones. Mm-hmm. They all got their Twitter accounts hacked, and nobody could figure out what was going on. And each of those accounts were posting like, "I'm feeling
Bitcoin.
I'm feeling generous today. I'll match every donation to this Bitcoin link for the next hour or whatever." And apparently, a bunch of people fell for it because people are dumb. But anyway, so this happened, and then Blizzard. Twitter's reaction or their fix for it was, well, until we can lock this down. Basically, it shut down all the trash compactors on the detention level. Is basically what they said.
Shut them all down.
Yep. So it shut down anybody with a blue check mark, anybody who's verified, down.
Gotcha.
You couldn't post, you couldn't reply, you could only retweet. So what some people did, because there's an account called @allwords, that has every word possible in the English language. And some people were sending cryptic messages by just retweeting the words they wanted to from this account.
Really? Oh my God! So, but it would be like over the course of
every word
tweets.
Every word. Sidian corrects me. He's right. It's every word, not all words.
Oh my God!
So it's @every word, and so I did one. I just did the word weird, and then I wasn't going to spend much time with it.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. That's more work.
Yeah.
I mean, for somebody like me who doesn't even tweet that much, nearly as much as I should tweet more. I definitely should, but doing that just sounds like the absolute antithesis of what I'd want to do
with any of your time.
An hour of my time.
Yeah, exactly. So I was done with that pretty quick, but yeah, 4 hours while the entire place was run by all the unwashed plebes that are not checkmarked, and that was a fun thing to watch a little bit. But anyway, I guess they fixed it.
I guess you got to just take a look at, which high profile accounts didn't get hacked to see where it might have come from. I don't know.
Hey, that's not a bad theory you got there, Detective Ibbett there with his.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
No, I spent a little bit of my afternoon. I was so tired yesterday. I didn't mention it, but the night before I only got. I was awake from about 1:30 in the morning until 4.
Ooh.
So I did finish Atlanta.
Oh.
The second season of Atlanta.
All right.
Yesterday afternoon, before I just had dinner and just crashed, I did play a little bit more of Titanfall 2. And I got to say, I got to that first boss, and I'm going to be adjusting the difficulty settings for bosses like you suggested, because I've taken several runs at that boss just to see if I could do it without it.
Yeah.
And man, it's such an enclosed area, and you're running, and he's dropping fire on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
It's
super tricky. Yeah, you got to be careful in there. Plus, a controller is not quite as precise as you would with a mouse and keyboard on the PC version, so I think it's totally fine to knock it down to easy. And it's so easy to knock it back up to medium as soon as you're done.
Totally.
Knock it back up.
As soon as I'm done, I'll knock it back up.
Yeah.
Thor 4231, I actually been really bad about doing the Gibson sleep recipe. I haven't done it for about a week.
Gibson's sleep recipe. Wait, what?
The mixture of the melatonin, like all those different supplements.
Were they working at all? Were you finding
they were working okay? Yeah, they were working okay. It was hit or miss. I was still in the adjustment phase.
Yeah.
And it just got to be a pain in the butt. So I was like, I didn't do it over the weekend, and then I haven't picked it back up this week. So I will. I need to do it for a little bit longer to just figure out the adjustments and all that stuff.
Well, maybe this is what made you so tired.
Oh, I'm doing a bag of salad.
You did a whole bag of salad. Yeah.
A whole bag of salad will make you really, really tired.
Super logy.
It also was a great meal. We had ribs last night, but I sous vide. I put them in the sous vide for 42 hours. It said to do it for 36. You can't overcook something in the sous vide. It's very difficult to overcook something in sous vide.
Yeah.
But in order to do it 36 hours, if we want something for dinner, that means I've got to get up at 5, put stuff in the sous vide so that it'll be ready for dinner the next day. I'm not going to do that.
No, that's a lot to ask.
So I did 42 hours. We put it in there the night before, 2 nights before the night we want it for dinner. And then pulled it out,
so good.
threw it in the oven, finished in the oven, nice little crispy edges and stuff. My God, the meat didn't just fall off the bone, Scott. It leapt off the bone into your mouth.
Yeah, and then the bone
you would hold the rib here, and the meat would go nope, and right into your mouth.
Yeah, 42 hours, you could almost eat the bone at that point. That's a lot of sous vide time.
You almost could, yeah.
42 hours is it's true of both sous viding and how long. Or what's the rule they say? If somebody gets kidnapped, they're not going to. If they don't show up in the first 42 hours,
you can't file a missing persons report for 42 hours.
Something like that, or maybe it's 24. I forget what it is, but I'm jealous.
Or is this the Stockholm syndrome? Like after
maybe
42
that's it.
hours.
That's it. Yeah. Then you're on their side and you're robbing banks with them. That's how it works.
That's right.
So, well, that's great. I would eat the hell out of your dinner. That sounds really good.
Here's how good it was. I gave a rib to Crazy Neighbor Dave, who is a big time rib smoker, meat smoker, well, pot smoker, but that's a whole different thing. But I mean, he does. He's like a barbecue king.
He's a joker. He's a meat smoker. He's a real pot smoker. There.
Some people call him Maurice.
Oh.
But he and I are going to work together and do a smoked pork shoulder.
Oh my Lord!
Sous vide and then finished in the oven. So he's going to smoke it, then we're going to put in the sous vide, and then we're going to finish in the oven, make some pulled pork out of it.
Oh, Brian, that sounds so good. That sounds really good. This is good. This is what we should do during hard times. Everybody get together and
big collab.
Yeah, collab your meat.
Big meat collab.
Yeah, meat collaboration is it's the future, and you guys are living it. Well done.
That's right. Exactly.
Keeps leftovers next time, and I'll mail them to me. Do that like Adam's ribs on that MASH episode. Remember that? That was a thing.
I do know. Oh right, yeah, they had them shipped from
Adam's
Toledo.
ribs. Was it Toledo? Chicago, Toledo.
Yeah.
Toledo. I forget.
Well, was it Klinger having them shipped? I thought it was Klinger having them shipped.
I thought Klinger knew somebody. Adam's Ribs was the name of the place. It was either Klinger knew somebody or just he remembered. Oh, no. It is Chicago because it was in some station. And, okay. So Hawkeye had spent some time in this station and had some ribs there and got all wild up about it.
Yep. It's Adam's Ribs, Dearborn Station in Chicago. It is a Hawkeye making that happen. There was another one, according to Jester Root, Toledo episode was Tony Paco's. So Tony Paco's sausages was what Klinger was.
And he ate like a giant sausage the whole episode, and it was really stinky, and nobody could be around him because of it. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Yes,
I remember now. Dearborn Station. Okay, we're all good now.
Dearborn Station.
I finished that 1,000-pound sisters thing yesterday. The TLC.
Speaking of eating a giant stinky sausage.
Yeah. They actually have one of these in their fridge, and I'm not kidding. They have a giant sausage in their fridge they show on camera. But anyway, I finished it. I thought there was maybe more seasons. There's just the one, and it bums me out because it really does lead you to believe that from the beginning, this is like the beginning of their journey as being 600 pounds for here and 400 whatever for her. And then by the end of this thing, they're going to have their surgeries and everyone's going to be thin and we're all going to be blown away like House Makeover, where they pull the truck away and you're like, oh my gosh, look at the change, look at the difference. No, they didn't do any of that. They just got to the end. They got to the end and said, okay, well, one of them had the surgery and she lost 100 pounds. She's still 300 and something pounds. The other one still hasn't got enough to get the surgery done, so she's just kind of waddling around. It was just a huge letdown.
It was no closure. You didn't get closure. They're wanting you to watch a second season of that, Scott.
If it was there, I would have binged it. I would have binged it. It's not even up. They don't do it.
Well, that's a lot of weight to lose quickly, though.
It is, but for them, as big as they are, I think 100 pounds is, well, I don't know. I don't know how this stuff works. I think you lose it pretty quick. And you're right about, like, if you're 600 pounds, how long is it going to take you to get down to like 200? Probably quite a while.
Like, you can't do it in the course of a TV season. I'll say that for sure.
So
I'm laughing at Free Hotel Room. Just said what a letdown, but that's dripping with so much sarcasm. It's simmering in its own sarcasm juices. What a letdown.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can't take anything Free Hotel Room says without it.
That's the best. That's kind of the best thing about Free Hotel Room is the way you can't just read his messages verbatim. They are so slathered in what a letdown.
He's in the it's like a guild. He's in the sarcasm guild.
Right. So he's the king of the sarcasm guild.
Yeah, if you want to get the sarcasm on, you got to go talk to Free Hotel Room. Anyway,
that's right.
Just bum me
out.
I know these are stupid and they're supposed to be stupid, and I understand it's trash TV, but I don't know. I'm just hoping they got further on the road.
Prepare yourself. I mean, this is now is a good time to like start making your lists of all of the comedies and dramas and things like that you've missed over the years that you're going to really want to catch up on and binge, because we're not experiencing yet the fallout of months of no TV production that is usually the lead time you need for dramas and comedies and things like that, scripted programming.
Right. There's a gap in the production line for sure.
Our fall and winter, prepare yourselves, is going to be so much reality TV.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And immediate programming, like basically programming that just takes a few weeks to edit and produce as opposed to time to write and script and act. And
I believe you are correct in this assumption, and I'm not sure if I'm excited about that at all.
No, I mean, like you're saying, now is a good time. But far and away, if you're not watching like the best reality show on television, best reality competition show on television, if you are not watching Holy Moly Season 2, you are missing out. Rob Riggle, as much as I loved him before, he is now just a national treasure.
So this is happening now. This is on the air now.
It is on the air now. It's on Hulu, and it is.
Holy moly! All right.
Holy moly! Holy Moly Season 1 is good. Holy Moly Season 2 is exponentially better. And friggin', like I said, Rob Riggle, one of my new favorite comedic geniuses.
He's great. I love that guy.
He is great.
He's an ex-Marine. That guy.
I believe it. He's got the lantern jaw of an ex-Marine.
Yeah, he looks like a big old ex-Marine. All right, well, I'm going to finally...
AV Tech John says he can't stand Realty TV. I can't stand Realty TV.
Oh, Realty
it's just
TV.
nothing but looking at houses, and it's just horrendous.
That's all HGTV is anymore. It's all Realty TV.
Right.
Can't deal with
Realty TV. I know.
But I have to admit, I was a little tempted after I got done with the 1,000-Pound Sisters. My finger hovered briefly as I was sitting on the back porch in the nice night air watching this. It briefly hovered over my 600-Pound Life, a show I've never seen. I started to feel the draw to why people like these weird freaking I'm huge.
See, those are the ones I don't like. It's like
I know it's trash. I know it's trash. I just know it is, but I can't help it. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird how I'm drawn to it, dude. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Also, that same time while I was out there watching that, I think I ate a mosquito hawk. Are you familiar with this bug? You know
a mosquito hawk?
Yeah. You know what those are? Oh,
no,
sorry.
I'm pulling it up right now. Mosquito hawk.
All right. While you're looking
I
that up,
would expect that to be a bird.
It's not a bird.
No, it's not a bird.
Definitely another bug. But while you're looking that up, I will.
Oh, crane flies.
Yeah. And they eat other mosquitoes is the point. That's why they call them mosquito hawks. They're good to have around, actually.
They are. I like those, but they are creepy because of their freaky long legs and their inability, like moths, to figure out that you're still not going to get out of that window, no matter how long you fly against it.
Yeah, you can fight that all day long. You're not getting out. You're part of it. You're just in.
So it is still a kind of mosquito. I didn't realize that crane flies are still kind of a mosquito.
Sort of, but they eat mosquitoes. So they're in concept. They're in the right numbers anyway. They're good because they'll keep mosquitoes at bay.
Skeeter eaters.
Yeah, they're skeeter eaters. And anyway, I ate one yesterday. Oh, before I get to all that, Brian Dunaway coined a term that I'm annoyed that they didn't adopt. You know, NBC launched their Peacock service.
You're not going to say this.
I am going to say this. Their slogan for that should be Peacock, watch the cock.
Yeah. No.
That should be the title of it. That should be the slogan.
Wow, I wonder why they wouldn't use that as a slogan ever under any circumstances ever in the history.
They really should have done it. It's a missed opportunity. Anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm watching, really big people try to lose weight. All right, on this my iPad screen.
Yeah.
And right in the middle of it, I did kind of a breathe in to kind of shift my.
Oh, okay. It wasn't that your jaw dropped because you saw something amazing on my 400-pound sister, or whatever it's called.
No, but that's a better name. My 400-pound sister. And by the way, here's the funny thing: they just ignored through that whole series. She's 405, the other one's 60 whatever. Mm-hmm. They just outright ignored that everybody else, the mom, the stepdad, the brother, the sister-in-law, on both sides of this Kentucky family, they just ignored that they all need the surgery. Every one of them is 380 to 600 pounds. And they just pretend like it's not.
It's not just that the sisters are the largest in the family. They're just the ones who agreed to the reality show.
That's what it feels like. And so they'd have the brother get on camera, and he is barely, I don't know where you buy those clothes, like a sheet with a hole in it. And he's standing there, and he's just looking at the camera saying, I'm really proud of her for losing the 200 pounds. That's really amazing. And I'm thinking, are we just going to ignore? I mean, it's not a problem. It's not that I don't want to make fun of any of you, but but you've all got this obesity thing going, but you're all pretending it's just your sisters. It's just weird.
I wonder how much it would cost to replace every floor in your house with treadmill. So like your entire subflooring or your entire floor is just one big treadmill. And so to get to the bedroom, you have to go this way. Now, if you're going back over to the kitchen, it's just a slide back.
Oh yeah, you just stand and hold still, or would it move dynamically depending on your position? Maybe?
Oh, that would be the best, right? It automatically kind of like a VR, one of those VR.
Yeah.
Things.
It'd be really expensive though, right? Like
that's right,
at that scale, because the VR ones are just like a little personal trampoline size thing. No big deal. That can rotate, but if you're on a giant flooring situation, you'd have to have some kind of dynamic thing happening.
That'd be great, actually.
Yeah.
Dice Tomato says, so basically like Jamiroquai's Virtual Insanity.
There you go.
It's like Virtual Insanity appeared. It was no treadmill. There was no moving floor. It was all moving walls and stuff.
That's
it was
right.
Just brilliant the way that thing was done.
Didn't he also climb walls and stuff, or end up on the ceiling at some point in that video?
No, not in that video. It was all. It was just all floor movement.
I'm thinking of something.
Cockroaches
else.
and
That's a weird. Remind me of the song.
You're thinking of Dancing on the Ceiling. Futures made of virtual insanity. Always needs to. Useless. New technology.
What's he doing? What's he up to?
What's Jamiroquai doing? What's Jay? JK, I think, is the guy's name.
Is it? Okay.
Jaykay, I believe, is the lead
J-A-Y.
singer.
JKY. Jay Kelly? Jamiroquai.
Yeah, Jason Louise Cheatham, whose name is JK. Which
Is it really Jason?
everyone's gonna think you're just kidding whenever you say your name is JK.
Yeah, no kidding. What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? JK.
No kidding?
What? So wait a minute. How's this guy doing then? I don't see him doing anything. Looks like he's not doing anything. I'm looking him up. I can't find Jack
Poop
Poop
In
here.
2017, he received the BMI President's Award at the BMI London Awards. He fights paparazzi a lot. He collects cars. And there you go.
Okay. Yeah, JK. Jaykay. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
That's just
not
ridiculous.
his real name. That's just the.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. He wore that big old floppy stovepipe hat in this photo on Wikipedia. He's wearing like an LED
look at
crown
that.
kind of thing.
Yeah, he's wearing an Indian headdress near the bottom, so they're going full like YMCA down there. Okay, well, look, who am I to judge? I don't know.
That's your Jamiroquai.
Yeah.
Now you've learned about crane flies.
Yeah.
Which I'd never heard about mosquito hawks. I've never heard that term before, so that must be.
It could be a local thing. That's what we always called them growing up. But I swallowed one, and that's the big question. Well, like, am I going to die now? Yeah. Is there going to be a problem from eating a mosquito?
So basically, Scott, it's like you've eaten mosquitoes.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it ate like 5 mosquitoes, 2 had West Nile virus, one of them had malaria, the other one had Ebola or whatever, are all of those things in my system now because I ate a freaking mosquito hawk last night? Probably not, but still. Just don't want to eat. I don't want to eat. I didn't go out there with the intention of eating any bugs.
Right. Nobody goes outside with the intention of eating bugs, Scott.
Yeah, but in particular, a bug that eats other bugs. Not into it.
Yeah, I wonder how long you have to wait before you can get your malaria / West Nile virus test.
Oh yeah, dude. Or what was the one the mice give you? What's that called? The one you get from dust and mice poo.
Oh yeah.
Is that West Nile? That's not West Nile. Oh, no. the Huntavirus.
Huntavirus, yeah, Huntavirus.
Yeah.
I hate to bring this up, but do we know if mosquitoes can transmit COVID? I guess.
I don't know. Is it blood?
I guess not, because
is it not a bloodborne disease as far as we know?
I guess not. No, probably not, because it's respiratory. So probably not.
Well, I would hope not, because I don't want the Rona. Not into the Rona.
I don't want the Rona.
So there's somebody who, I'm going to bring this up, and I realize this might be a big bowl of food for a troll. Okay, I understand that, but I'm going to say this anyway because supposedly he's done now. So there was somebody who emailed me a lot over the last 30 days.
Okay.
A show would end, and inevitably I would check the TMS folder for the emails that come in from the TMS page, and there would be a message from this guy.
Okay.
Chewing me and you collectively out for spreading misinformation about how COVID-19 is saying it's a hoax. Basically, he's saying it's a hoax, and because we don't accept that it's a hoax, and then going into the whole he had all sorts of hills to die on, but that was one.
I mean, really, at what point do you just stop digging in your heels and say, okay, I guess we've reached a number now where I guess I can't keep saying it's a hoax. We've reached the X number that I set aside as a line, that if we cross that number, I'd say it wasn't a hoax. I don't think there is, right?
If they never believe the number, then there's never a line. Like if they don't ever trust the number and they don't see it for themselves, people can be ignorant to a lot of stuff, I figure. So anyway, this guy's been going on and on, and it's fine. I just delete them. I don't care. I don't bring them up on the show. It's like whatever. There's always somebody out there's always doing something. That's fine. But anyway, this person yesterday said, "This is going to be the last email I send you because clearly I'm not going to be able to change your closed mind." And I said, "Whew, thanks."
I said, "Okay."
Yeah, I literally said, "Whew." I spelled "whew." I did the WHEW, and then
Hot
said
kettle. Yeah.
and said thanks because I like okay good. I don't want to deal with these anymore. And plus he's always anonymous. I never know who this person is. So anyway, I guess my question about all that is if you well, first of all, we hardly barely touch on any of the hot point issues that are the politicization of this particular issue or anything else. We just don't talk about them on the show. It's mostly dumb stories about man finding a caterpillar at a supermarket broccoli and then raising them as his own. That's one of today's stories, for example. That's 90% of what we talk about.
Sure.
Up till now, we've talked about mosquito hawks and 1,000-pound sisters. Like it's such a minute portion of anything we discuss anyway. Plus, it's a pandemic. You can't ignore it entirely. But even then, we do a pretty good job of working around it, right? So what I'm wondering is, I gotta stop thinking about it. The idea of listening to the show every day and excising out the little cherry pickings you're gonna pick, and then constructing a 9-paragraph email every day, chewing me out for
that
it.
long, really?
Oh yeah, they're big, dude. Wow. You remember that one I sent you just an excerpt of?
You sent me just like a couple sentences from. I didn't realize.
Yeah, it was a whole book. Like a whole,
wow.
And they're constant, and so I'm worried for people like that. Like, what, really? Like, I even if you have, let's say, even if you have some really strong feelings against all or whatever it is that you got a problem with, just don't. I wouldn't listen to us then. I would go somewhere else. Right? Wouldn't you leave if if I turn on a TV show and the TV show just went blah 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 blah, I'd go, you know what? This isn't for me.
Exactly. Yes.
If it was a thing that rubbed me wrong, and good on people who enjoy the blah 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 blah, but for me, I couldn't deal with it for very long. I would just go someplace else. I don't understand.
Yeah. If only they could find something constructive to do with their time. If only there was some way they could volunteer somewhere, or help out, maybe see things on the front lines.
And here's the thing: I did, Brian.
Be part of the solution.
There you go. See, I agree with you. But here's the thing: I probably just handed him on a silver platter everything that was worth it for that 30 days. He's probably listening now, and he heard all this.
By giving him food, you fed the troll.
I fed the troll, so now he's down under the bridge going, and he's going to send another email. I got what I wanted. That's a good troll. That's a good troll. I want to draw the troll you just did a voice for. That's a great troll. All right. Anyway, it's all dumb and it's fine. All right. One quick note here from, I think I'm going to watch this tonight based on this recommendation. I've had others, but we got one from Tony in Buffalo who wrote in. Plenty of great emails, by the way. It's just one guy, but anyway. He says, "Hey, Soy and Bran. So you give me the runs.
I take offense at you using products that are...
Give me the runny butt. Anyway, I recommend a movie called The Old Guard. It's on Netflix. Charlize Theron, really good, and I was surprised. Not life-changing, but good entertainment. If you haven't heard about it, or already, of course. Yeah, I'd heard about it, but I haven't got myself around to watching it. Please play the slowed-down drunk clips of Wendy at the start of Thursday's show intro for Wendy. Hilarious. We asked for more fish, but they wouldn't give us any more fish. Tony from Buffalo. Well, Tony from Buffalo. I think Kim and I are going to watch it tonight. I think that's happening.
Yeah, Tina and I are probably going to watch the Film Sack movie tonight. Karate Kid 3. I don't like Karate Kid 3. But over the weekend, we're going to watch The Old Guard. It's been on our list, and we're going to try and watch it early enough for recommendals this week. But we already had a bunch of stuff for recommendals this week. So
yeah, we had a lot.
Wasn't like we needed one. I even had 2 movies that I recommended 2 weeks ago that...
Sure. We're double recommending. That's how many we got.
Yes, exactly. Come on, pace yourselves with your consumption because the reality wave is about to come this fall and winter. I'm just saying.
I am going to get ready for that. I am curious what Tina would think of Karate Kid 3. Is she a Karate Kid fan? Will she like this? Do you think she's going to want to sit around?
We all like Karate Kid 1. We all like that feel-good story of the crane kick and the body bag and the wax on, wax off.
Back in the day, that was like stand up and cheer kind of business for people.
It was, sure.
I remember the end of that thing and that whole like final crane kick where he's all injured and stuff after he swept the leg. And the
budding romance between Daniel San and Elizabeth Shue that pretty much ended the next episode when he flew off to Japan and hooked up with the pretty Japanese woman.
That's right. Boy, Elizabeth Shue, you want to see her in a different thing. Watch The Boys Season 1. Good Lord.
Yeah, no We just saw her in. Oh, yeah. There's something else that I'm recommending that I've saved as a recommendal for next week that we just saw her in, and she still looks absolutely amazing. I had such a big crush on Elizabeth Shue in the 80s and 90s, and she still looks great. And if she's had work done, it's one of those deals where you can't tell if she's had any work done.
She is. I think she just has a natural thing going. She looks great. Good
structure.
Taking good care of herself. She looks great.
Probably it. Yeah.
She's She's growing old gracefully, like we all would like to do. Mm-hmm. And she's still a snappy actor. She's great. Nothing wrong with her. Mm-hmm. All right.
We also just watched. We finished up the new Twilight Zone on CBS Access, and Gretchen Mol is in the last episode, and she's, of course, she's older now as well, but we're noticing that she still looks great as well.
Yeah. We listen. There's a way to do it. Talk to Judi Dench. That woman looks amazing, and look at her. She's in her freaking 90s now, or 80s, whatever.
Yeah. Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren. Yeah. These people, man. What
I guess Gretchen Mol is only 47. It's not like she's. It's not like she's ancient, but
right. She's younger than us. All right. Yes. Let's do some news. We got some news to do, and it starts with this.
This is the info we've been waiting for.
Great. It's time for the news, and it's brought to you by
the Frog Pants Discord. Find it at frogpants.com/TMS today.
Yep.
And join it.
It's linked everywhere on all the pages, but since we're on the show, you can get it there. And if you want to, hang out and talk, there's a whole TMS group in there. There's a Vegas group that hopefully will one day find its way back to real life.
Find it back to Vegas.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Core instance. There's a great Animal Crossing. If you're an Animal Crossing player and you're looking for that one last piece of furniture that you need to bring the house together.
Yep. They're basically forums in 2020, everybody. So join up and hang out and have some fun in there.
Yeah.
All right. Brian forwarded this to me yesterday, this story. It's pretty good. It would be remiss if we didn't actually do this one, so I'm glad we're doing it. A man finds caterpillars in supermarket broccoli and raises them as his own. Aw.
Fantastic.
It's pretty fantastic. Yes. That's the right word for it.
Don't you wish you would have done that with your Carl's Jr. lettuce worms or whatever it was that you found? What was it where you got?
I'm trying to remember. What did I get?
The salad.
Oh no, I got a dirt clod at Carl's Jr. in the salad.
That's right, dirt clod. Yes.
I should have raised that dirt clod as my own.
Grown it into a mud pile.
Into a whole mud pile. Yeah. Most people would be bugged to find a caterpillar in their supermarket broccoli. I would be as well, but not Sam Darlston. Darlston. How would you say that name? Darlston. Okay.
Darlston.
Instead, the British media personality decided to raise it to maturity. Oh, apparently he's a media guy. And 6 others also found among the broccoli shoots. Darlston, a host of Kiss FM UK and a vegetarian, discovered the first caterpillar back on June 11th when he started to prepare his favorite vegetable purchased from his local Tesco supermarket. Now that name I know.
That name we know. It's funny we got taken to task on Twitter for not being familiar with Lidl.
Yeah, well, I still can't understand why that's so shocking to people. Are you guys familiar with Albertsons over there? How's Safeway doing over there? Like, we don't know. We don't live there. Like Bo the other day was talking about Canadian brands, and he's rattling off all these names that are really common to him and people around him. And John and I are both like, I don't know what you're freaking talking about. Never heard of any of that. So once in a while you'll find something like Coke or Snickers or something that's like universal, worldwide, whatever. But a lot of times we don't know.
No, we don't know.
No, we don't
it's good that he was familiar with Target and Walmart, but I can't say that it's it's not like everybody's familiar with every single grocery chain around the world.
Oh, did you hear that Walmart's they're requiring masks?
Monday is masks required at Walmart
nationwide. Yeah. That means we are going to get
so many videos.
Dude, gnarly videos. You think we've seen videos up till now of Karen types losing their shit? You are about to be.
Oh, it's the Karen wave is coming.
We are leveling up, dude. It's going to be bad. Yeah. Unless they're all just tired and don't care. But I'm telling you, Walmart caters. I mean, I'm not trying to be classist or any of that. Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying, there's a reason why there are entire YouTube channels dedicated to sneaky cameras watching people walk into a Walmart with like nothing but a thong on, or you know what I mean? Like there's a certain thing that happens at Walmart that doesn't seem to happen anywhere else. And so I'm just saying, get ready, prepare yourselves, lock it down, because you're about to get hit. Some gnarly business. All right, where was I? Oh,
broccoli
man.
Caterpillar.
That's right. He was shocked at first, but felt soon, but that feeling soon turned to joy when he realized he had a new pet to enjoy during his lockdown in his London home. I did my research initially and discovered the exact type of caterpillar butterfly that we were dealing with. A cabbage white, he's told the Huffington Post. I then decided to build him a little home in my lounge with all the broccoli he wanted. He gave the new companion the name Cedric. Oh.
Yeah. Now, here's the great thing. If you look at this Twitter feed of his, which they have in this article, he then went to Tesco offered him a replacement. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we had this in there.
No.
Tesco offered him a replacement. He went and got it. That broccoli contained 5 more caterpillars.
Oh, jeez.
And then a third broccoli that his housemate went and picked up had another one. So his one, Cedric, all of a sudden had 6 little brothers and sisters, and so he's raising them all. Aww. And he's showing them all on this Twitter feed, and they're adorable.
Yeah,
I mean,
cute. Yeah, why not?
But Tesco, this is not good, Tesco. You need to be checking your stock.
That's a legit big. That's a big one.
It is. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude, I'd lose my crap if that showed up my broccoli. I like broccoli, and we just had broccoli. I can't think about this. I just ate broccoli yesterday. Did I eat broccoli, a mosquito hawk, and a caterpillar last night and not know it?
Maybe. My guess is that we probably eat a lot more things, insects and things that we don't realize we're eating.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I am convinced of that.
I'm fine not knowing.
The smaller, the better. Like microscopic, sure. Not a problem. Not going to bother me.
Right.
Have you seen this kid on YouTube dancing and singing cowboy songs for Burger King? Have you seen this?
No, I have not.
Okay, I'm going to tell you about this. Burger King is testing a diet for cows that aims to lower their daily methane emissions.
Okay, because that seems like a different thing than what you just described.
Well, I'm going to play this video.
Okay.
Just a little bit of it.
Do I need to look at the Twitch feed to see the video?
I'm going to put the link in the chat so you can see this. Because
put the link in the chat, and I'll start it when you start yours.
It's just on the news thing, but
let me guess. It was it's on the page.
Yeah, it's on that page. Yeah.
I'll just go there.
Yeah, you can do that. So I'm just going to play a little bit of this. Check this out. Okay, I should make it clear. This kid just exited from a cow's butt. Let me play that part again.
Oh, he totally did. Yeah.
Yeah, here he is.
They are absolutely reusing the Tender Crisp Bacon Cheddar Ranch set for this.
Oh, dude, that's the first thing I thought of.
And I think even the outfit. Except I don't think Darius Rucker would have fit in that little white suit.
I was like, where the heck is Darius Rucker? But anyway, this kid sings even, so here, check this out.
When cows fart and burp and splatter, well, it ain't no laughing matter. They're releasing methane every time they do.
Auto-tune.
And that methane from the rear goes up to the atmosphere and pollutes our planet, warming me and you.
All right, so he's plugging his nose now. So it's an ad for Burger King. They're basically saying they're going to slow down on methane emissions from cows, which is actually a legit problem. But since they consume so much of the world's beef to make their freaking burgers, they announced today they partnered with scientists to develop a new diet for cows, which, according to the initial study reports, reduces up to 33% of cows' daily methane emissions. It's all from farts and burps and that.
Yeah. Splatters, as the kid said. Ugh.
Yeah. That's Mason Ramsey, the yodeling Walmart kid, is who that kid is. So do you remember him?
Yodeling Walmart kid.
Yeah.
Wow, it all comes back to Walmart.
Yeah, do you remember that Walmart kid?
I don't remember Mason Ramsey, the yodeling Walmart kid. This is one of your TikToks, Scott.
No, this is for real. He's well, maybe actually it might have been. It was maybe it was Vine even, but there was a video forever ago. Well, it couldn't have been Vine. This kid's too young, but There was a video of this kid yodeling in a Walmart and blowing everybody's mind with how good he yodeled.
Wow.
And
well, there he is right there. Pops and Recline has a video.
there it is.
It's almost like Pops and Recline was ready to post that video for us.
Well, he's in recline, so it's not that hard to then give a link if you're in recline. Oh yeah, here's the yodeling kid. Okay, I'm gonna play it. Here we go.
He's just parked right next to the routers and the toner cartridges.
That's what it looks like, right? All the home office stuff. Okay, hold on, let's see.
Lord, I don't know what I do. All I do is set oh Lord, that last long day she said goodbye. Well, Lord, I thought I would cry. She do me, she do you, she's got that kind of love.
Oh, let's skip ahead.
Is there anything that shouts America more than a kid wearing oversized cowboy boots yodeling in a Walmart? Like,
74 million views on that video.
holy cow.
Yeah. April 1st, 2018. So it's been that long.
Wow. If he was holding a hamburger and an apple pie, I don't think this thing could be any more American.
Yeah, it's pretty American.
What? I'm curious as to, did he go to the Walmart with the intention to yodel? I think he did. Like,
it does look like the way it's set up. Everyone's kind of spread out, and like he's just standing there like he's on a stage. I have a lot of questions that aren't being answered about this video. I don't know.
yes.
But I have more questions than I have answers. Because did he just show up and say, "All right, Mom, grab the camera," and then everybody stopped in their tracks to listen to the kid yodel? Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, good for him. He's talented.
Yeah.
No argument there. But
it's weird.
the whole thing, yeah, exactly. There's so many questions. What led up to this moment that we are watching right now?
Yep. It's very weird. I don't know. Let's see what it goes on.
Goodbye. Well, Lord, I thought I would cry.
It's kind of the same song the whole time, but yeah.
It started to sound like KK Slider.
Yeah, a little bit. Oh, it's Saturday. There's a naked dog in the town square. He sings to us.
Giant eyebrows.
Yeah.
What is the deal with KK Slider's eyebrows?
Why does every other animal in Animal Crossing wear clothes except for KK Slider? That's what I want to know.
Holy cow.
Yeah, he's the only one.
Wow,
he's naked. He's naked. You ever think of that?
That's crazy.
Yep. There's no other
kidding.
animals in the entire thing, including you. As the humans, you can't even take off all your stuff. You'd just be in your little long johns or whatever.
Little boxers. Yeah.
He's buck naked in the middle of town. KK is.
Wow.
Yep. Slides into town naked every Saturday for a show.
Well, how do we know that Tom Nook is wearing pants behind that counter? I'm just
Actually,
saying.
that's a good point. Also, I don't think his boys wear pants, right? They have Tim and Tommy have a little.
Oh, they have the shirt. They have the Donald Duck going on, right? Shirt, no pants.
No pants, but I think they're wearing an apron, so they do have kind of a loinclothy thing, but you never get behind them, so we don't know if they're really truly naked or not.
We never see. That's true. They're always facing forward.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Hey, did you know this? This is crazy. Livestock, like cows, are responsible for approximately 14.5% of greenhouse gas emissions. That's a lot.
It is.
The new diet, which involves having the cows consume 100 grams of lemongrass leaves during the last 4 months of their lives, aims to help reverse the course on some of that. So, changing their diet. Maybe your burgers will taste a little lemony, though. I don't know.
That's all right.
Is that okay with you? Have a little lemon?
Totally fine with me.
Okay. Burger King brand is taking the right step to initiate mitigation of enteric fermentation methane emissions originating from beef cattle. It says here, this is from Octavio Calestalan, PhD, professor of the Autonomous University of the State of Mexico. Wee wee boo boo. That's French. All right. Hey, Brian, there's a story about you.
Yeah.
Not you, but where you're from.
Not about me. About my part of the world.
Your part of the world. A squirrel has tested positive for the plague in Colorado. Plague squirrels! Ah!
That's right. Plague squirrels.
That's not good.
I want to say this is fairly common though. Like every year they find.
Yeah, it's not that
squirrels
uncommon.
Or prairie dogs with bubonic plague. It just turns out to be that it's it's just a year where we've kind of had enough.
Mm-hmm. It's like if there's a shark attack next week, we'll hear about it because everyone wants to talk about it.
It'll just be all right, shrug. It's like what
like
what
murder
else are you gonna
bees.
give us?
Yeah.
Locusts.
Yeah.
Do we have locusts coming yet?
They did in Africa.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
We did, yes.
They had the worst locust storms they've had in like 100 years or whatever. This year, the murder hornets. I don't know if that's still a thing or not, but that was a thing we were talking about a couple months ago. And then the bear with the nunchucks. Did you see that video of the bear? That was pretty cool.
I heard about it, but I haven't seen the video.
It's literally a bear with a parrot. I don't know where he got him, but he's just standing up and like whipping the nunchucks around. Not in a very good way, but just whipping them around.
Oh, really is whipping him around?
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah, he's like bipedal in the video and everything. He's like standing up. So of course everybody was like, "Oh, hey, who had nunchuck wielding bear on their bingo card?" And that kind of thing.
Look out, Leonardo DiCaprio or setting up the oh, there's video, nunchuck bear.
Yeah. It's weird, right? It's weird. Man, Pops and Recline, you are just on the spot today. Well done. Isn't that great?
Okay. That is more of that because his mouth is open. He just looks like he's grinning playing with this thing.
Yeah. He looks like he's having a ball. Like
he totally does, yes.
Oh, that wasn't Pops and Recline. That was the wrong one. All right.
AV Tech John.
I was trying to be fast here, and I was
former
very slow.
Former drone guy, I believe.
Oh, so it's at a zoo.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
well,
somebody tossed a pair of nunchucks into the into the bear pen at the zoo, I guess.
I guess so. But that's the other. See, again, I have questions. How did you get your nunchucks?
Yeah.
And how does the bear know to do this with it?
Right.
That's so weird.
He's just swinging them around. It's so funny.
It's so weird to me.
Yeah.
All right. Well done, bear.
How do I get that guy to move to my island?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
He's naked too.
It looks like the tag is still on those nunchucks.
Yeah, they are.
Because it looks like at the end there's a price tag.
Yeah, it looks like they're
So
brand
they're
new.
Stolen nunchucks.
They're someone stole them from one of those Asian stores in the mall, ran right to the zoo, tossed it in there, said, "Here, bear, have some nunchucks."
Yeah.
Or as I called them in junior high, numchucks. That's what I call them.
Nunchucks, yes, exactly. As I almost called them a minute ago.
Oh, you did? I didn't hear you.
Because you hit yourself hard enough, you'll be numb.
Oh, yeah, because they're chucks and they'll make you numb. Anyway, watch out, everybody. There's a plague, the plague. It's happening in Colorado and Jefferson County in particular, about 17 miles southwest of Denver.
That's where I live, Scott. And I live in Jefferson County, but we're way north of Morrison. Morrison is where Red Rocks Amphitheater is.
It also says cats are highly susceptible to the plague and may die if not treated properly with antibiotics. Cat can contract the plague from flea bites, a rodent scratch, bite or ingestion of a rodent. So if they got a hold of one of these squirrels, dogs are not as susceptible to the plague. However, they may pick up and carry plague-infected rodents with fleas on them and stuff like that. So Brian, just watch out. Anaria needs your protection now more than ever.
Anara.
What did I say, Anaria?
You said Anaria.
Anara.
The Chronicles of Anaria.
The Chronicles of Anaria.
She doesn't go outside at all. She's a completely indoor cat, so we don't have to worry about that.
Well, then there you have it. We're now going to take a break. When we come back, my sister Wendy will be here. We're going to talk about. You know what? I'm going to save it. Because I don't want people to tune out. I think we're going to have a good discussion about this particular issue. And there are going to be some people that hear it and go, "Oh, I'm sick of hearing about that." But I think it'll be good because we haven't talked to Wendy about it before. And her takes are always fresh. So we'll do that after the break. Before that, though, a song selection from Brian's vast library of music.
Certainly. John Torres and Scott Pack.
I'd make an exception for Diva. I would like to enter a mech from behind.
Pew, pew, pew.
From Hell's Heart, I podcast at thee. This is the morning stream.
Got a call the weirdest time. Who is this? Do you ever get a call right when you shouldn't get a call? Like the worst possible time you get a phone call, and it seems like, oh, you know what? It's junk mail. Gosh dang it.
No, Scott, because I turn off my phone during podcasting time.
I'm doing that. I now got the little moon is on. Okay, the moon is on.
There you go.
Freaking jeez.
I let VIPs get through. People I've identified in my list as VIPs. So you could call me during the show and I'd see it, but you, Tina, Tristan, My parents.
Oh, I'm on there? Oh, that's nice.
Of course you are.
Oh.
Yeah. Not that you ever call me.
Well, you're
you
on.
never call me, Scott.
No, I never call you. You know, my favorite my favorite thing I ever got on a phone from you ever was that time that you thought you were reciting for Siri, but instead you were saying the words.
But I was doing audio.
Yeah.
Ha, 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 period.
And I can't find it.
Oh, good.
It's somewhere.
Good, I'm fine with that.
I got to find that file because it's one of my favorite things ever. It's so funny. All right. I've done it too, so, who am I to say?
Oh, I'm doing a bag of salad.
Okay, great. All right, moving on. Wendy time. My sister is probably ready. Let's see. She says she's online, so my guess is she'll answer right away.
Okay.
Since we are 4 minutes past the hour. I have a new intro for her today. I'm very excited to play it. And she's ringing. We're ringing. Ring. Nothing yet. I'm going to pause because no answer yet. And we'll just wait a minute here. Oh,
hello.
Oh, hi. Hold on. Hi. Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Fine.
Oh, good. Listen to this. I got a new thing for you.
Everyone knows it's Wendy. Blah, 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 blah.
There you go. Hey, that's a pretty good new intro for Wendy there. It's my sister Wendy,
Hey, blah, 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 blah.
my practicing therapy sister, who comes on the show on Thursdays and discusses issues at hand. Sometimes they're personal questions you guys ask about your own lives, and we try to help you out. Sometimes it's about general topics. Either way, we're glad to have you here. How are you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're all right.
Good.
Yeah, I went to Mom's the other night. Went and saw Mom,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing the birthday bash for her. That's so nice.
Yeah, we were. It's just Kim and I, but we took a whole bunch of balloons and stuff and decorated the yard and hung out with her for a minute. And turns out old people really they just want to talk. They just want to sit down and have like a good visit. And so we did that.
Yeah.
We wore masks so that we didn't compromise their oldness or anything. And and it was lovely. It was a nice little time. And we talked she talked a lot about how much she misses Wendy, and she kept talking about that. I thought that was interesting. Yeah.
Oh,
That should totally not make you feel guilty.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Why don't you visit more?
I need to get there, but I feel like I don't know how. Like,
Yeah,
if I
it's
get
weird.
on a plane and then go see her, I'm just like, there's so many points of potential. I don't know.
Yeah, now's not the time for sure, but it's like that feeling of like, oh, how do we do this? Like, what are we going to do? How are we going to
Do I just put a bubble wrap around myself?
Yeah. You
Do
could
I
do that.
come and quarantine for 2 weeks and then visit and then
There you go. You could do that. Come stay here for 2 weeks in a cheap motel somewhere downtown.
I'll just be like starving, barely eating things and flies. I don't know. I feel like that's what quarantine means. That's not true.
Hey,
but-
you know what a mosquito hawk is, right? Because you grew up around here.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's they eat mosquitoes, right? Isn't that the deal? Isn't that their thing? They just go kill other mosquitoes.
Probably why we call them mosquito hawks.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Just making
Never
sure
heard of
I'm
them.
not crazy.
We
'cause-
know them here as crane flies. Never heard of them as mosquito.
Oh,
bites.
see, and here they're called something else too. I forgot what they're called now.
See, Brian, it's crazy though because Brian's just one state over. You'd think that we would have.
That some of these things would cross the mountains.
Yeah.
Okay, this is really important because if this doesn't cross the mountains, I don't know what will. When you were a kid, Brian, did you have a three-wheeler? You know those?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever
blue.
flip? Well,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, did you ever flip it over and pretend it was making ice cream?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Really? That wasn't just you. That was a thing.
That was a
That was
thing.
the thing. And here's what I found out because I've asked lots of people. I think you might be a little too old. I think it might have been just a couple years after you or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I've talked to multiple people who are my age that lived in different parts of the country who exact same thing. They'd flip their bikes over and you would move the pedals with your hands. Remember those? And you would make your ice cream and pretend you're selling ice cream to your friends or whatever. And it was California, Georgia, and New York, or Vermont, I think. And then I've talked to other people who think I'm crazy. So I'm thinking.
I can see it. I mean, I can see what you're because you basically turn the wheel, the pedals, and the the wheel just keeps spinning.
See,
But why
you're
not like
making
a spinning
it
wheel,
a
like
little.
you're spinning gold into, or spinning
Yarn.
Thread into gold.
thread
Yeah.
into gold or whatever. Why was it ice cream? That's a crazy thing.
Well, that's the difference in education level, I think. I'd have to have read a book versus I
Yeah.
love ice cream.
Because ice cream cranks are usually vertical, not horizontal.
That's true. That's true. By the way, the chat room seems to. There's an overwhelming number of people. I'm really surprised how many people are like, "I totally did this. I did this. I totally did this." Yeah.
I love it. I love all of you. Okay, I have another one. This one's really embarrassing.
All right.
Scott, you and I know because we had subpar education.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, I think we've talked about this on the show actually before, but it's still in this category that just still hurts my head. All right, so how, Brian, do you spell dilemma?
Dilemma, D-I-L-E-M-M-A.
Scott, how do you spell dilemma?
D-L-I-E-M-A.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Is that
You got one letter in the right place. Oh, and the A. You got the D and the A in the right place.
D-I-L-E-M-A is how I would spell it quickly, and then I would be autocorrected immediately. But yeah.
You would only put one M.
I would probably put one M, yes.
Okay, so for, I'm not kidding, 30-something years, I have thought my autocorrect on my word was just wrong. Because I'm stubborn like that. Because I've always spelled it D-I-L-E-M-N-A, as in autumn.
Like dilemma. Yeah, right.
Dilemma.
Okay.
And here's the thing. I just laughed and spelled it wrong, and Adam would be like, what is wrong? And I'm like, well, and I would just spell it that way. And I listened to a podcast, I don't even know, it's been a while. I was in Sweden at the time. And when have you ever had those moments where you it's like everything you knew is now a lie?
Yeah, all the time.
It was about that there was a survey nationwide done about the spelling of this word, and something like 30% of people spelled it M-N-A.
The way you
did. And it's because, and this is the theory is that it was taught that way in certain parts of the country, whether it was and people were trying to figure out, were there textbooks that were misprinted? Was there some curriculum or something? Because the numbers supported this thing. And I am listening thinking, but it is MNA.
Yeah, but at least it should be giving you clarification on this should be confirmation that something weird was going on, right?
Agreed. Well, confirmation in my own individual experience. And then when I heard it, I was still having my reality cracked open that I was still spelling it wrong.
Wow.
But then I learned right away that there were so many other people. So I have gone, this is embarrassing. And I don't go to parties anymore because we can't gather as people, but I will ask people, how do you spell dilemma? And so many people do not know how to spell it generally, but then there is always one or two people in any crowd that I'm ever in that has always spelled it M-N-A.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
And so it's my confirmation of bias, which is something we're probably going to talk about a little bit today.
We are going to talk about that today a little bit.
Yeah.
That
I am trying to find my fellow ice cream three-wheel people and my dilemmas.
Yeah, it's a real
another
dilemma.
Example of a word though that, like, I know damn, D-A-M-N, right?
Autumn,
but is there another one where there's a vowel after it? Like I guess you say damnation, but you pronounce the N.
Yeah, that's
in
true.
Damnation.
But you can say dilemma if you feel like it.
Good. You could say anything.
It's optional.
It's a flexible language. We sort of fudge around with it all the time.
Yeah, lol. Freaking, that's not a word, and now it's a word.
Yeah,
so
lols.
Don't you tell me you can end.
There's even a sarcastic version of that, which is just lulz, L-U-L-Z, which is like a lazy sort of lulz. Like
it's because damned. Damned is a good example right there.
Damned has a vowel,
and you don't pronounce the N in that one. Good.
Or damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it. But you do. Damn it is two M's. You definitely spell damn it as D-I. Oh yeah. Him. No.
Tim.
I've always spelled D-A-M-N with apostrophe T. Damn.
D-A-M-N apostrophe T?
Yeah. Like damn. What would that be short for?
Damn it.
Damn it.
Or we could just be like, what they're doing, where they add a word that we continually use incorrectly and just add it to the dictionary because it's easier to join them than to beat them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Which has never been a word until we
Please.
decided. Webster said, screw it. Let's just put supposedly in the dictionary.
Oh my gosh, yes, that's exactly.
That one's a
there's
bummer.
So many of those.
That one's a bummer to me. I don't mind it when they go,
Yeah.
oh yeah, add podcast or add, words that take on
yes.
meaning or whatever. But when they say, go ahead and put supposedly in there, you're all doing it wrong anyway. You may as well do it. That annoys me that that's in there. Like even if I know I say both wrong, right? I'll say both instead of both. I do it all the time.
What?
Oh yeah, you know this.
Both and waint.
And waint instead of
Okay,
wait.
I also say waint, and I trained my youngest to say waint, and he cannot say it. And I always go, wait. And he's like, you're the one that trained me.
That's
I'm
right.
Like,
That's right. We get it from our parents.
Waint.
But the both thing or waint thing, like if the dictionary came forward and said, hey, we're putting waint in the dictionary because you're always I would be mad even though I do it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm moving to England.
Yeah, let's do it. The Oxford Dictionary is much slower to add words.
English.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm freaked out by you saying both. Say that again.
Both. BOLTH. Both.
Both.
Both. Yep. So if I say, did you like those? Did you like both? Did you like both of those movies? That's totally a sentence I would say.
Both of those movies. So Peter, this is weird because you can apparently lose your ability to pronounce something. He's never said water or water wrong, and he now says wather.
Wather?
Yes. We're always like, dude, no. And he's like, oh, I mean water. And we're like, okay. And then 2 seconds later, wather.
Wather. That's a funny one. Wather.
Yeah, it's annoying. So yeah, I agree. Let's not change the dictionary.
So does he call
dumb Johnsons?
Maybe he calls Adam Fotter and calls Wather.
Fotter and
yeah.
Fotter.
Yeah, there you go. We've nailed it. All right.
We figured it out.
Well, speaking of confirmation bias, which we have talked about on the show before, but we're going to talk specifically about the hot new term that everybody's using out there right now called cancel culture. And I'm going to start this by saying...
yes, but at some point, you can start by saying anything you want. Sorry to interrupt you. But
yeah,
I think we need to define those 2 words real quick.
Well, we should, because that's part of why I have a problem with it. So let's define them.
Okay. So let's start with culture.
Okay, do it.
I want you guys to define culture for me.
What's okay. The stuff that's under my toes if I walk around outside.
What makes yogurt?
Yeah. What makes yogurt?
Culture is our society's norms or society's practices.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. I'm going to say culture.
I'm going to stop there because I feel like anything more. Yeah.
Anything more you're going to look up.
That's not bad. I would say culture is... because sometimes it's very specific. You can have a culture within your family structure. You can have a culture within a work environment. So you have office culture. So you have, office culture example might be, hey, we're open to everyone's ideas, or nobody's ideas are any good except the CEO's. Those are 2 kinds of cultures or bits of corporate culture. At home, it might be dad's in charge of everything and mom just submissively says yes to everything. That's one kind of culture. Another one is, hey, we're a team. Mom and dad do things equally. And then there's a whole third one where mom does everything and dad just sits around.
Would you quit mass mansplaining culture?
Mass mansplaining is a pretty good way of saying
mass
it.
mansplaining.
Yeah, I like that. So that's my take on it, is it's like that. It's like the structural makeup of how we interact with each other within any given closed system. There.
So, okay. So let's go with a classic and problematic definition of the word culture. Okay. It's a set of customs, beliefs, symbols, and habits associated with any given social group, right?
Okay.
So something important here is that it's pretty dang arbitrary, right?
Yeah.
So why do French people wear berets and Scots wear kilts?
Because culture.
Yeah. So you're born into a society that has a bunch of ideas already, right? So what are proper tastes, behaviors, rituals, morals, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So it sort of classically, and this is why it's problematic, it's singular. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how many French people you've met. I've met many, and not one has a beret.
Yeah.
I know a ton of Scots, and they only wear kilts at weddings. At least that's been my experience, right? So we have so colonialism is a big piece of this, right? I'm going to go visit your culture, and I'm going to jot all down the things that I see, and that's now who you are. So that's how me, as the explorer, colonialist, thank you.
Colonist.
Colonist. I come on in and I say, "Oh, now I understand you." And it's essentially racial profiling, right?
Yeah.
It's like I've put it all together. That's the sort of classic term, and it's very steeped in primitive versus advanced cultures. How you think about it, right? So I love to think about England and like just this tiny nation of very pasty people where it rains all the time. That's there we go, racially profiled, that wander around the world, especially in warmer places, and take over.
Mm-hmm.
And part of what that is about is that, this self-referential, that I'm rational, we're diverse and interesting, and we're nuanced, but we're going to go over here, and to understand you, it's going to be this small understanding of what a culture is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take that for a second. That's kind of, it's complicated in that everyone thinks it's pretty simple, but when you really get into what it's a way to otherize or keep them in a box, right? So the very nature of cancel culture is really the reason that like an anthropologist would avoid using the word culture, because it does just simplify. It's the very reason you're going to use it for cancel culture.
Okay. I think I understand that.
Okay. So, all right. So it's a little more complicated.
So what's the difference? What's the difference between me? Because I would say it's a stereotype that all French people wear berets. I would not say it's their culture unless I was really being dismissive and being super. What's the word? Not minimalistic. There's a word for this, but anyway, if I was really trying to just say, well, let me boil it down to what I think French people are. They eat cheese, they drink wine, they go ho ho, and they wear a beret. That just feels like stereotyping, right?
And we do it, right? It simplifies. We don't have to do hard math now.
Reductive. Sorry, that's the word. Reductive. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take that a little step further. So why do Brits like tea and crumpets?
Because we've all been told that they like tea and crumpets. That's it.
All right, and there's no reason. It's just that's what it means to be British. Does it? Okay, so then why do millennials and Gen Zs like to cancel?
Because we've been told that they like that. Like
there's no reason. That's just what they do, right? Okay, so let's think about what the power of using cancel culture really is about, right?
All right.
It's about dismissing the actual complaints of the canceling, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's being able to, so we're going to call it cancel culture. We've just culturized a group of people who have a legitimate problem with something, potentially, and reduce them to that. So there's a reason, like Fox News, bless you guys for existing, who like to call people mobs. There's a big push in that, right? If you watch anything, any of their headlines, it's like mobs.
Right.
Why wouldn't they call something a movement versus a mob? What's the power?
Or even a group.
A good negative connotation of mob that gets the point across that they want to make.
Yeah, they're not going to say group. They're not going to say those things. They're going to say mob, or they're going to say, they like the word thug a lot.
Thugs. Yeah, they love that. Because what a mob or a thug does is it's about destruction and chaos and right versus a movement is they want to change something. So cancel culture gets complicated because there are versions all over the map of what that could actually mean and what it looks like. But a big part of, it's shortening it to a phrase that then means, and we can talk about specific instances of this, but just that what people actually have problems with or they want changing, we have then stuck them into a small group, which is just millennials and Gen Zers are cancel culture, whatever.
Yeah.
The generations before, what did we do when we didn't like stuff?
Well, we would rebel. I mean, one man's mob is another man's protest. One man's protest is another man's mob. Like
another man's revolution.
Yeah. Somebody might say, "Oh, back when the Tea Party movement was happening in the Obama years, that was a great movement." And you might look at some other movement today that just happens to
Tea
be
Party
sort of
mob.
suddenly they're a mob.
Yeah.
So
Right.
so that's usually how that works. But in the past, let's say, let's go back to the 1500s, because I've been reading some weird history about the 1500s. The way people would show displeasure is they would take to the streets with torches and they would burn things, and they would get cracked down by whatever the ruling parties or governments or kings or whatever were, and they would come in and clean out the rabble rousing and try to shut it down from that level. And then what would usually happen is people would rebel even more, and eventually entire kingdoms would topple because the people would rise up and take it back, sort of thing. That's usually what happens. To answer your question, if that answers your question.
Loser?
Did they have?
Oh, there she is.
Yeah, there you
You
are.
disappeared for a second.
You went mute for a minute. Anyway, go ahead.
What other options did they have at the time? Do you know?
They had very few. Like, they didn't have Twitter, they didn't have Facebook, they didn't have the internet, they didn't have that sort of thing. Which brings me to the thing I was going to say earlier. So I'm going to get it out of the way now, so I can just throw it out there. I don't think cancel culture is actually a thing. I think it's a term that makes it too easy for people to dismiss it.
Yes.
Which it sounds like what you're getting at.
Yes.
What it is just like when somebody says, they've canceled J.K. Rowling for what she said. That makes no sense to me. I have cognitive dissonance with that statement. She's not been canceled from anything. She is a many times over billionaire. So there's no money canceling. There's no job canceling. She's not being fired from anything. Her publisher will publish books when she makes them. They're still going to make Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them sequels.
She will always have whatever platform she wants to speak
She
from.
will always be able to speak from that platform. That has not been diminished. She isn't being banned from anything. She's actually literally not been canceled. So to me, the word doesn't, I'm just looking at it from like a structural standpoint. The word doesn't mean anything. It's like, I don't know. What's it like? It's just like we put people into this little thing and said, oh, that's just more cancel culture. Did you hear they're trying to cancel that? I keep hearing that from people. I'm like, no, they're not. They're just, you're getting a face full of free speech, maybe. That's not the same as canceling anything. Now, if you speaking up and others speaking up with you about something you've been wronged with, like Harvey Weinstein attempted to rape me in a hotel room. Okay, let's say that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's not cancel culture. That's exclaiming a thing that happened, getting corroborating witness testimony from others who have experienced the same thing and or maybe were there the day it happened, and then everybody going, yeah, not acceptable. And then the powers that be, whether it's the people who hire you, the people that currently employ you, the people that pay you, whatever, those people fire you. That's just the free market at play. That's not cancel culture suddenly kicking in with its evil plan of cancel culturing or culture canceling. It's just the result of bad behavior being called out and people going, oh yeah, you can't work here if you're doing that shit. Goodbye. That's not cancel culture. That's shining light on a thing and saying, here's a thing that happened.
Right.
So now you have to deal with the results of that. Now, you might be able to say J.K. Rowling also has to deal with the fallout and results of saying a thing, pissing a bunch of people off, and now having to deal with the blowback of that response. But you're not being canceled. You're just having a big, loud conversation where nobody can agree on anything.
Do you have any examples of someone who you think is actually canceled?
No. That's my point, is I can't really think of anybody. Now, some people came to me, and I put this up on Twitter, and none of this was ever meant to, like, I'm not trying to get arguments going with people. I'm just basically saying, is there an example of people being actually canceled? And some people were smart and funny and said things like Firefly. Fox totally canceled Firefly. And that's true. They did. But that's different. And they know that. They're joking, obviously. But, some people are like, well, how about... somebody actually said O.J. Simpson. And I said... And I looked at that and I thought about it for a minute. He really hasn't been. Like, he like, their concept is, well, he was acquitted of killing those two people. So by the law's standards, he was deemed innocent. Whether or not you personally believe he did it or not, which I do, but whether or not I believe he did it or not, it doesn't matter. The idea is that he was canceled from society because, well, everyone, of course, believes he did it, so now he can't ever do anything again. That is simply not freaking true. Like, that guy's just fine. He was at a party in Vegas the other night without a mask on, dancing around for his birthday. Like, he's fine. That dude is fine. I don't think that is even an example of canceling. And that guy was adamant that he was a good example of that. But nobody really provided one. Somebody mentioned like a YouTuber that got all shut down. Oh, the couple. No. The couple with that adopted an autistic baby and made a huge deal out of it. Took donations for it. They're a big YouTuber couple that's just always just showing how great their family is. And they get this baby from somewhere, I can't remember, some other country, I mean. And it turns out the baby's got some pretty severe autism issues, and they couldn't deal with it. So they had a teary video where they announced that they were giving the baby back. And their fans just revolted. They were just like, you can't do this to a human being. Like, these aren't toys, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they lost a ton of subscribers, a bunch of sponsorship. They're still there and they're still doing their thing, but they got dinged pretty hard. Again, I don't think that's cancel culture. I think that's holding people to account for bad behavior. Now, you could say, should the court of public opinion be the thing that's holding you to account? Well, it is when you're in the business of
public opinion.
That's your job. So if you're going to be there, that's where it's going to happen. If it happens in, behind closed doors in some warehouse downtown that stock shelves full of cases of wood, I don't know what I'm talking about, but let's say this is a warehouse full of wood, and the guy says, "Yeah, we found out you were peeing all over the toilet seat just to piss the boss off. We're gonna have to fire you." No one goes, "Cancel culture." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so I think it's too easy of an excuse to use this term, and I don't think it makes practical or actual sense. I don't like
it. Doesn't make either of those things, but it is shorthand to protect power. Because if we think about what it is actually, right? So the first person I thought of was Louis C.K. The dude gets caught being disgusting, and there should be a consequence for that. Mm-hmm. And he disappears, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know anything that's happened to him since. I do know that I had we'd done some trainings while we were in Sweden for like teenagers and social media stuff. Adam and I did some fun things, and we had a clip from him that was really good. And I remember at the time thinking, I guess I got to take that out because it's no longer neutral and helpful. It's now tainted or complicated, right? Because the truth of who he is and how he has acted, it's more of the nuanced picture of him rather than a flat entertainment source, right? Mm-hmm. So the whole person suddenly mattered. Right. And we now have access to information we would never in any other generation have access to. So we then get to make a personal decision of our buying power. Am I going to buy Louis C.K. stuff? Is that how I'm going to handle this? I don't know. I have to make that decision personally, right? So I think cancel culture is that's what's happening for people individually. They're outraged that this couple who they feel close to because of the nature of the medium and how these people have managed to connect with all of their users, they aren't who they thought they were. Mm-hmm. So they get to decide, I don't want to follow your content anymore. So everyone has that right. So there's that as a fundamental part of this. But then there's this other part, which is, I think, illustrated really, really well with the open letter. I don't know if you've heard of this. J.K. Rowling was part of this.
The different authors co-signed on this thing and all that.
Calling for, out of Harper's Magazine.
Yeah.
And what is really interesting is if you read any of the criticisms of it, it's essentially like, okay, so you're using your platform that is you have Harper's to use, which is a complicated place to start anyway. And you're going to use your ridiculous levels of fame. You're going to throw in a few people of color so you can say it's diverse. And you're going to essentially defend your place of power rather than and saying, so this person who has not had the power before calls one of us out, and we will just use the power we have to maintain the power. So again, there's this, everyone's doing it, right? So if you have the platform, you have the power, people don't give up power easily. This is, and so what cancel culture ultimately is a way to throw out, hey, you actually still don't have that power of free speech and complaining and reviewing and putting your money where your mouth is. We're gonna glibly put that into a small thing and then mock it. I mean, at least that's the Fox News version of this, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're totally right. It's the same thing people would do. Flip that around and just say, well, just from the opposing view of that would be like, well, everybody that voted for Trump must be a lunatic, racist, non-mask wearing psychopath, right? It's not true. I know plenty of people who voted for Trump, and they're not that at all. So it's just so easy to corner everybody and say,
pigeonhole,
you're all this thing. And honestly, cancel culture, part of the reason I think it's a popular term online is because it's alliterative and easy to say.
Exactly.
It's almost fun to say.
No longer put my money to support this person culture.
Right. Right, exactly. And when people say social justice warrior, it's because it's fun to say. When they say cuck, it's because it's fun to say. When they do these words that just do this like minimalization, they're fun to say. I meant to say this earlier and I forgot. And this is a little more personal, but last year, about a year ago this week, as many people are aware, a bunch of accusations came out about Mark the Terpster Turpin, who worked here with me on the instance and was a big part of the community, and which he immediately admitted to and stepped down from everything, including stuff here. That was a really hard week for me, really hard, because I had considered him a very close friend. He and people used his name last week as when I put out this tweet saying, well, there's an example of cancel culture. And having had the personal experience with it, I can tell you that is absolutely not what that was. That was people holding Mark to account for bad behavior. And in his case, he didn't try to dig in or, like you said, maintain the power. He admitted to it immediately and stepped down, and he hasn't tweeted since. He hasn't done anything online since. He just basically disappeared from everything. We immediately, he wasn't going to be on the shows again. It didn't matter what he had said. Had he come back and said, well, I'm going to ride this out and continue whatever, I can't have him on the instance. Like, it changed it. The nuance changed. You talked about Louis C.K. and how that changes. Like, if he said a brilliant thing one time that you would use in a on stage at a TED Talk, are you going to still use that now, knowing that the guy who said it is also doing this really pervy, horrible stuff? Do you have to every time qualify it by going, well, hey, Mark the Terpster Turpin's about to tell a funny joke here. Just know that, he did this stuff before, but this will still be a funny joke on its own, separate from that. Like, it doesn't work that way.
No.
And you have to recognize, I mean, Terpster, in my very little knowledge of this, did something that we rarely see, which is he canceled himself.
Yeah,
he
just
decided
took himself out of it.
He would no longer be in the public eye and doing content in the same way. And what you have is that the vast majority of entertainers do not do that. They do not go away. They may wait a while and then come back out, or they may reinvent them. Part of that is the very nature of that business. The reality is the vast majority of humans are not in this business. We are doing other things, right? And so, but we are so connected to it because we consume it. So it's like if a friend has come out and admitted something horrible, and everyone, it's so personal. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's why we're so invested. If this was auto mechanics and we kind of read an article about it, and it was so much cancel culturing happening in auto mechanics, would not impact any of us at all. Mm-hmm. We'd have zero context. We don't feel connected. This wouldn't exist. But it's because this feels like everybody when it isn't everybody. Mm-hmm. If you have no power, you never have the risk of being canceled. Right. It is
definitely there's a power dynamic at play every time, right? Some level of it.
Which leads to this sort of interesting thing I've noticed. I have a number of clients in various shades of whatever they think about all this stuff, right? And what I have found, because I know their deep stories, right? I know where their shame is. When they are going off about, and this is a person with so much privilege, and I won't give any more details than that, but so much obvious privilege to the rest of us who just cannot handle Black Lives Matter. And it's such a joke, and spends all his free time trying to discount everything they're attempting to do. And it's it's almost embarrassing. I want to go, hey, dude, like, I know where this is coming. And I do. I say, so let's talk about, and this is kind of, to illustrate this bigger point. Where is somebody's shame, right? Like, and I don't mean like, oh, you should be ashamed of yourself. I'm talking the deep parts of you where you feel broken or hurt, or you're not good enough or powerless or otherized or whatever your experience is. How does that then come out? Because I think we get really confused by this mask situation, right? So it's a political statement to put this thing on your face that would then, it's going to help. It's not going to, like, all the arguing, all the discussion, all the, it's this lovely way we can stereotype, right? Because it's some outward symbol that we can just attach meaning to.
Yeah.
And when you really take an individual and say, where is your shame here? And you can't say it like that because that won't work. But if you're drilling down to it, what is it? And this particular person has had a failure in his life that he had no power over, but he has power over everything else. And it's a wayward kid that he cannot have a real relationship with and can't fix it with all his means of white, rich privilege. And so all of his energy is now going into finding fault with anyone else's anything, because it's directly affecting, it requires him to look at himself. Well, he had a reprimand at work for saying something super dumb and sexist or racist in a meeting, and no one has ever slapped his hands before, right? So you take all of that and you go, what are you going to do with that feeling, that shame you've never had before? You've never been put in your place before. You've never not been the top of the food chain. So what do you do? And so you do what you maybe have always done. But here's the cool thing. So that's one example. I have many, many more where people are going, what have I been missing? Where can I look at myself? Right? Like, that's the real power. I feel like, I can't speak for Terpster, but my gut is that is Terpster's attempt, right? His attempt was to get himself away from this space that is toxic for him and to be honorable. I don't know. I just assume that's what it is. Like, he's chosen to let his shame change him. I think, I hope, right?
That's what we all hope.
Anyone else?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know either. I guess I don't truly know for anybody's case, but in that particular case, I didn't cancel him. I kicked him off shows, but I didn't cancel him. His fans who were mad and upset, they didn't cancel him. They were mad and upset, but they didn't cancel anything. They don't have the power to cancel anything. He, in this particular case, is the only one that had the power to do anything remotely like a cancel. If, again, the word just sucks. It's just so dismissive, but his decision to just pull away from it all, focus on his family and get away from it, that's self-imposed. And he's the only one that had the power to do it. None of us did. I mean, yeah, I had the power to say, well, you're not in the instance anymore, obviously. But that's it. That's all the power I have.
The bigger picture of this is, and I know people who love Trump are mad when I say this, but they're like, if we can all just be really honest about how he has changed the landscape of the American presidency. He does not have shame in the way that Nixon did, or that Clinton was a master at switching topics and figuring out how to get through it. But right, like there is politics or politics, but there is a level of what like shame would normally drive someone to either back out or stop or do something different or apologize. That is not a thing anymore. And not that influences everyone, but it does have an impact on maybe seeing, right? Because isn't the answer to just not care that you're being accused of these things? Isn't the answer to not say sorry, to just maintain power? And so to me, that's part of this conundrum. Now, I understand you're a writer and you tweet something or you say something and suddenly people are freaking out and people start to get nervous and feel like they're being hindered. But the power question has to always be asked. So is your free speech right as a incredibly influential writer with a giant platform? Is that is it really being threatened? You're acting as if it is, because that's what humans will do when power, their authority or their well-being or whatever is threatened, understandably on one hand. But that's where this introspection, I think, is incredibly powerful. And I think a lot of people are doing it.
Yeah.
We pay attention to the people who are not doing it, but there's plenty who are, who say, I have spent my life thinking this particular way. I need to change. Like, one of my favorite things are those very subtle, no one ever sees them, good news reports about, some dude who had a swastika tattoo when he was younger and he's just changed and he's getting it filled in with a picture of a flower. I don't know, right? Like, that's not making the headlines, that someone has shifted and decided that, the way they thought about something, or that they can access the reality that maybe they've harmed others, or that they have privilege that they're using in a particular way. I mean, it's just tricky. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is everyone needs to be in therapy.
Well, they're claiming the Harper's piece, a lot of it, and I read it, a lot of it is just a claim that the public discourse is deteriorating to the point that people can't talk about what they want to talk about without fear of reprisal. And I think that they're wrong about that, because again, the platform we're in today, like it or not, means everyone gets a voice. Everybody, from somebody who's got billions of dollars and a giant following and a huge successful career, all the way down to dude that works at the local gas station, barely makes it by, and is able enough to buy a phone plan so that he can tweet once in a while. He has the same voice, right? I mean, not the same voice, but he has a voice. And that wasn't always true. In fact, this is a relatively new thing in America, or in the world, not just America, where people from everywhere can say something and have the potential of their message going viral and becoming something bigger. Some people have made entire careers off suddenly having a moment, like that. So we're just in a different time. And I don't think it's any different than it's ever been, except now there are voices you didn't have yelling at you before for the dumb things you say, whether they're dumb or not, maybe up for interpretation, but you didn't have as many people who could come back at you with their interpretation. That's the difference. And
built for it, right? We're built we're barely able to handle a one-on-one conflicted conversation, right? Like our system hasn't upgraded to the reality of what this looks like. And I can get behind the sentiment of like, hey, more civil discourse, right? There's not that. It's more about sort of maybe not quite understanding the power dynamic, because when you're in power, you don't feel any different. You're just used to your power, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's interesting, and I think you have a lot of other things happening, which is just so many ways to get your news. I think Nick posted this on Instagram. It was hilarious. It was a picture. I follow Nick. I follow such random things, and Nick is one of them. Yeah. I think he's great, but he's also random for me to be following. Yeah. But anyway, so he posted this thing of a guy, and he's like, "Do you know who this is?" In 2013, he starts to just start this meme. It's in a meme form, but it's like this conspiracy, and then he goes like, "Nah, just kidding. I made this in 5 minutes," and it's like, "Stop getting your freaking news from memes," right? And it's very funny, and it's because this is now the world of how folks are either getting educated or not. No one checks sources. No one does all the stuff we've learned about.
They look at a picture with a caption and they think that's all they need.
And this is where the confirmation bias is rampant.
Yeah, it's bad.
Right?
Yeah.
So I want to believe, I want some crappy version of not nuanced journalism to tell me something I already think.
Yeah.
Or I suspect is true, and now you're going to confirm that. And now I feel smarter or more powerful, or I feel like I know and you don't.
Yeah, you're bolstered. You're bolstered now. You're like, oh, well, look, see, this agrees with me. Obviously, I'm right. Yeah, it's that whole thing.
I had a conversation with someone who is not well educated at all, and that's okay. But she was basically trying to tell me something that I knew quite a bit about, or I had read at least a lot about, and she was just like, I said, well, how will I find your sources for this? Because she's like, just Google it, and I was like, what? You think that? do do you mean go to 4chan? Like, I don't know how to find it. I don't know how to find these words you're using.
Don't
and
go to
she's
4chan.
like,
Stay away from 4chan.
No, I won't. But that idea of like, it seems so obvious to her that the truth is all she's reading.
Yeah.
And it's like, you tell me where you're reading that. And then also, could you read what I'm reading? And then let's talk about how open-minded we're both not,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
but suddenly we're having that conversation instead of like, oh, what are you guys doing this summer? Right.
Yeah.
That is it. It's this big shift in everybody's an expert and everyone also knows nothing. And, and it's hard. It's a hard place to be. I do wonder just individual well-being, right? So I had a conversation with a client recently whose husband, she works in medical stuff. She has to wear all this gear. She has to be incredibly careful. She's mainly with older people.
Mm-hmm.
So she has to be really careful. And he is just convinced that masks are a hoax and everything is a joke and blah, blah, blah. So their marriage is cracking. It's cracking. And I think, okay, folks, here's where the rubber meets the road with cancel culture, this concept we're talking about, with this idea of people not maybe being introspective and are rather looking everywhere else to put some of their frustration and their anger and, whatever. Mm-hmm. And she mentioned something. She said, I've asked him, why does he keep watching the news? So for her, she just has to stop. There's no way to get through her day and what she has to do and have that in her life.
Yeah. And
he says, I do it to feel angry. And I said, all right, so where's the pain here?
Yeah.
The pain is that he's numb and this gives him something to feel or whatever it might be, right? So each of us are going to have our own versions of this. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And really answer that question. Like, what are you doing? I sometimes have to say to myself, am I writing a dissertation on something I'm nosediving into? No, my free time is being spent researching something that is irrelevant to anything, right?
Yeah.
So then I have to say, what am I doing? Like, what? Oh, I'm getting dopamine. Okay, that's what I'm doing. Oh, I'm feeling something rather than feeling helpless. Oh, so ask yourself, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? What are you feeling? How are you reacting? Someone in the chat, Quantum Feline, said a thing that I can't let go because I just need to mention this.
Yeah.
So, Scott, you may not want to use the term, but by removing Terpster from Frog Pants shows as a reaction to the news and the opinions expressed by a portion of your audience, you were part of the canceling of Terpster. And I would say this is an example of, no offense, Quantum Feline, but that's lacking in nuance. Terpster disagrees with you. The guy you're talking about does not think that.
And your decision was made not because of the opinions expressed by a portion of your audience.
No,
it was expressed by, this was the thing that kind of needed to happen to
well, part of it was because he said, I did it. That was a big part of it. When he said, yeah, here's how it happened. I got an email from Terpster that said, hey, I know you're on your birthday trip, which I was. I was on this trip with the kids, in the before times when you could do that. And he said, you were going to hear a bunch of really rotten stuff about me today. It's all coming out now. It's happening. And all of it's true. I mean, of course, you're going to, what am I supposed to do? I refuse to allow him to leave.
That's right.
No,
you must stay.
Of course I was going to say, yeah, we can't do this. Of course we can't. And he was already taking himself out of it. So, I mean, again, I'm not trying to call you out, Quantum Feline, but that could not be a worse take. because I don't think it's canceling, even if it was that. Even if it was just, the news came out, the audience is mad, this is bad. Even if those were my only reasons, I didn't cancel anybody. I didn't contribute to the canceling. I did what I felt was the right thing. All right? And that's not even how it went. It went even further than that, where he was like, yeah, I did all this stuff and I'm super, remorseful about it, and I'm taking myself out of the game. And I'm getting help and I'm doing all these things. These are all the things he told me. And that's not canceling. That's like life resolving itself.
There may be a day when Terpster can come back to you and in his own life, and he might even start feeling it, where it's the best thing that has ever happened to him. And here's where I don't know.
I talk to him once a month. I text with him once a month, and I can tell you that he's already in a way better place.
Yeah.
Already in a better place. He's focusing on his 2 girls. He's focusing on his wife. He's focusing on that life. And he's in a far better place than he was before. But it's not even my place to judge that. It's his.
But again, it is that boils it back down to the what are you doing and why and what is actually good for us, right? And I think, power corrupts absolutely, right? A little bit. I know I'm hounding on this word, but it's because that is a piece of this public life, right? So there are people toiling away in obscurity on poetry. It'll never be read. They don't need a YouTube channel. It's the work they're doing, right? Now, is there anything wrong with going on YouTube and sharing your poetry? No, but it does add an element of, because you're a social mammal. Yeah. It does change things. And so that like real honesty with yourself and realizing why we do certain things. Oh, I'm trying to make my dad proud of me, even though he's been dead 30 years. Okay, well, that reason means you're going to do A instead of B in these circumstances. Is that good for you?
Yeah.
And again, I know everyone can't actually be in therapy, but man, wouldn't it make a difference if all of us could recognize sort of our underlying motives? Or so your heart breaks because you like Terpster. People like him. He's great. He's not all one thing. He's not all great and he's not all a perv or whatever he is. I don't even know the story. Sorry, I apologize. But like, he's not all one thing. But is he his best self in a toxic environment that, it's the alcoholism in the bar kind of thing? Probably not, but that's up to him to decide. I wonder if, we could have our perspective change to, openness because of our own understanding of ourselves, and then some kindness and compassion for others. It would be a different ballgame. I know. I want to live in an ideal world. It's ridiculous, but
we all do.
No, we all do.
I know.
I've taken so much heat for Tuesday because I was trying to tell Justin in our segment that I still, part of me still wants to believe that people that run for president, people that run for public office, that they have the people's best interests at heart. And it's so hard to see that right now from anyone, in any faction in any of this. They all seem like they've got their own motives and their own strategies to work those motives and stuff. But there's still this little, like I said Tuesday, this 8-year-old version of me that's like, but only the most honorable will step forward and do the best they can for the people. And, he's still in there. I still got a little of that guy, and I can't get rid of him.
Don't let it go. We need a little of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't, this is a really hard issue, obviously, because part of the confirmation bias is that people are really confirmed. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they're waiting for confirmation. They're getting the confirmation they're looking for now. So us saying all of this may or may not fall on some deaf ears, but I hope some people hear this and get some, get something out of it. I really like, and you do this a lot with the stuff you do, but I like this idea of like, really look at what you're doing, not just what you're doing, but what you're feeling. So if you're feeling justified because somebody retweeted your controversial opinion, what is that? Why are you having that feeling? Are you having that feeling because you're definitely right, or because now you think you're more right because this guy said you were, so now I'm more right than you guys thought I was, so now I'm more firm in my position? Like, there's a lot of self-analyzing you could do during this.
So our family has switched from watching Community. We are now on Veronica Mars. Mm-hmm. And it turns out Veronica Mars just has tackled all the issues all at once. It's really fun to watch with a kid. So that's our new show we watch with Abe. And I think there is some elements of like, the court case goes in favor of the powerful, right? Mm-hmm. And the truth kind of doesn't matter. And yet we keep fighting for the truth. I'm just saying, everyone be Veronica Mars. But that idea, actually, she's never traumatized by anything she goes through. Yeah. Every time we watch an episode, we're like, oh, you're just fine after you've literally almost been burned to death.
They locked her in a fridge and almost burned her in the fridge, and their dad was almost killed. But it's all good. Back to school the next day. Everything's fine.
It is so stupid that way. Yeah. But that's also what makes it very funny. And also, Logan never takes off his stupid, ugly necklace, his 90s seashell surfer necklace. And that's all I can see every time I watch the show. Anyway. Besides the point, that idea of what you were saying, and I don't know how that's related to Veronica Mars, but this idea of introspection. So, I love homework, and I'm just going to randomly give people homework because people need something to think about and do. Find one place, because here's how you do it, right? So you're in therapy. The therapist can see it. It's really obvious what it is you're doing, and they have to help guide you to see it. So they ask like, okay, and so there's pain there. Tell me about the pain. So they kind of move towards wherever the pain is. It's the opposite of what we tend to do in social situations. We move away from wherever we sense that there's pain, which makes me really weird at a party because I'm always like, oh, you seem sad. Let's go there, is that in your own life, what is the siren, or sometimes it's just a little bell that rings because your pain is being pushed? How do you know? What do you do? So maybe you drink a little more. Maybe you avoid. Maybe you don't want to get out of bed. Maybe there's what are the bells that are telling you, hey, there's some pain here you're ignoring? And if it relates to this larger conversation of your social media use, your consumption of other people's stuff and needing them to be perfect, and or being conflicted, or all of the different things, just follow the pain and you will know that there's something there. And that's when you ask yourself, what am I doing? What am I experiencing? And just see. It would be great if someone could come back at some point and just send a message to you about a thing they've done that with and what they realized. So for example, this person I know with all this privilege who's yelling on Black Lives Matter, if I pushed on the pain, it would be that story of being shamed in his employment when he's never been nothing but the top. So then we could talk about what that pain is, and that changes things. Then he can stop projecting it onto other issues that have zero relevancy to him, really, right? And maybe he could have a little more kindness or openness or compassion to other people's suffering, because his suffering is too big right now, right? So that's what I'm getting at. Can you find your pain and see that your suffering is maybe getting in the way of seeing other people as fully human, or maybe it's your spouse you can't see as fully human, or your child,
right?
Because your pain is too loud. So that's a hefty homework assignment. I realize now as I'm saying it.
No, it's tricky. It's tricky. The one takeaway. There's a takeaway.
Can I just draw a turkey by tracing my hand?
Yes, totally. Brian. Yes.
That's the other option. That's option B.
Good. I'm doing that. I'm gonna do that.
Can you get like some Elmers and some glitter and all that as well, and just decorate it up?
I have some red construction paper I've been really dying to use. So perfect.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Okay, so that's half the group. The other half, I would like to do this deep, hard, introspective work.
All right. Well, I think it's been a good conversation. This would be one I would recommend to people if you're listening to this. Tell your friends. There's a lot of this going on right now, and it's worth discussing. I think at this level. So if it's helpful, let us know. Send us emails or however you get in contact with us. All right, Wendy. Before we go, realsteps.org still a thing. I got another email from you the other day. That was nice. I'm like, oh, Wendy emailed me. Oh yeah, right. Realsteps.org. They're sending me good information. If you don't know what this is, go check it out. Sign up. Yep.
Yeah, and we're doing some really fun, different stuff this time. So if you've done it before, you're going to get some of the same good content, but a different format that's a lot more personal. So it's going to be a blast. So please sign up. Also, I have a question. If someone wants to email about this, I would love to have a conversation next week about school starting back up and pandemic and parents and stress and what your community is experiencing. Because I can't. It is a challenge everywhere, so it would be interesting.
Yeah, plus your perspective, you still have kids in school, a lot of them, or all of them, I guess. So that'll be a good perspective. Like I'm having this weird thing right now where, and we'll talk about it more next week, but where I am feeling a good amount of anxiety for my friends that have little kids or kids in school of any level. And at the same time, I feel a profound sense of relief because I don't have one in right now.
Yeah.
Like part of me is like, I don't have to deal with this fall. Phew. But then I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad for everybody who does. So I'm having my own.
I am experiencing model behavior and leadership from my school district. I just talk to friends who live in other places, and the pain, the stress, the fear, the unknowns, it's shocking. And I look at what my school district does and I'm like, guys, this isn't hard. Just follow this model. Mm-hmm. It's like they're acting like the grown-ups in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And they've surveyed all the kids, they've surveyed all the parents. There's no rushing there. It's so different from what other people I know are experiencing. So I can share what how we're calculating this. But I'd love to hear from somebody who's in the throes of this and how they're thinking about it, and kind of any questions they may have.
We have somebody in the chat. Mojo Finger 2 just said, "How about the perspective of a teacher who also has school-age kids of his own? I'd be happy to share my feelings." Yeah, you should share your feelings.
Or elderly teachers. I mean, that the teacher's perspective is huge, and that's really what I can talk about this later, but just what my school district is doing for teachers and how they are paid very well and they are protected, and they are like, it's a totally different ballgame than if the teachers feel like they're screwed no matter what, and then they could potentially die. Like, it's crazy what's happening. So anyway, yeah, absolutely. Let's somebody write in some thoughts, and let's tackle that next week, because that's coming up for a lot of families. They start in August, most of them.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's coming up fast, man. That's like right around the corner. Fast. All right.
2020. Are you done yet?
Yeah.
Boom.
Are you done yet? we got we got bears with nunchucks, so we're not done yet. We got more to do. All right, Wendy. It's always good to talk to you. Check her out on Instagram as well, over at Wendy Dunford, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Wendy.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
I can't hang up.
Stop it.
Bye. That was a funny way to end that. All right. I think that was a great discussion. I hope people think so too, and it's not just my confirmation bias that it was a good discussion, because I think it was. I think it went okay. All right, Brian, before we leave, we have a very Brian bonus mashup to play. Brian-esque. Okay. Good. So enjoy this. Yeah, this is something from Jamie. This is called Brian's Impressions TSA Vince. Don't know what that means. We're about to find out. Enjoy.
Shut up, you're so skinny.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
Oh my God, I wish I looked like you. You're so skinny. And I'm Bruce Rooney. Did you ever notice when you get to the bottom of the Vegemite bottle, there's always that little bit of Vegemite you just can't get out? Crikey.
The rest of her like,
Worf, click on the Zoom link. I sent you a link, Worf.
I see a camera icon, but it's got a slash through it. Skype is without honor.
40% of my campaign is going to be out. I'm going to take the other 60%, give it to the billionaires. I've been working on these pin particles for a while, and I think I can actually get to the microverse with these things.
If you do it slowly, you'll achieve more pleasure than if you were to pull them out quickly. Don't pull them out 4 at a time, because as we know, 4 is a number of the leopard. I'd like to say that Andy Dufresne just ignored the package. I'd like to say he didn't take it down into the boiler room and smoke the whole thing. 4 Corolla i5. Why do I keep wanting to say 4? There are 4 Corollas.
Wash down with a thickened liquid, right?
All right, let's see if you can eat this goat anus and then bungee jump.
It's like Marty McFly on crack.
Kind of is, yeah. I make no promises on my Joe Rogan.
5G causes gay frogs to get the coronavirus.
I think
I'm never going to financially recover from this. Rip your arm clean off.
I could eat Walmart meat for hours.
They said,
Hey, what are you doing over there? Come here. You're not allowed here.
book him. I don't know what voice that was. I don't know who I was doing. There you go.
With me.
That's better.
Well, now we're going to do a thing where you take your pants off and you go through this room, and then we're going to have somebody stick a scope up your anus and make sure that you're not hiding a gun up there. And
if Vince Gilligan was my TSA agent, I would gladly welcome. Oh, now I get it. TSA Vince.
The TSA agent.
Right.
I didn't.
He's really good at leaving those till the end. I like that. It's a nice surprise at the end. Well done.
I like that too.
Very well done. All right. That concludes our stuff for the
broadcast week.
Yep, we're done. No tomorrow, nothing tomorrow. I'm off, okay? I'm taking it off. Last year's birthday kind of sucked. This year's going to be better because I'm not going to pay attention to anything. So anyway, I will not be here, and there will be no show. So no PM tomorrow, but we'll be back on Saturday with a Film Sack episode. There will be Dungeons this weekend. All the normal weekend stuff will happen. So come on back for that. Possibly some streaming later today too, although I am recording some stuff for Current Geek Chronicles, which, by the way, we are getting dangerously close to being funded on that thing. If you want to hear rad stuff and check out what we're doing over there, Current Geek Chronicles is the show. It's a reboot of sorts. It's some of the best work Tom and I have ever done. If you don't believe us, wait till you hear this little sample I'm going to play. Are you ready to hear this, Brian? I'm going to play the sample. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Where'd it go? Here it is. Okay, so we have these promo clips. I'm going to play this 30-second promo.
Play the clip!
All right, here's the 30-second. Sorry, I was killing time while I'm trying to find it. All right, 30-second promo. Here it is. Enjoy. That's right. Mana is actually mana.
And that happens with a chair to the head. So cool, go get them.
It had strings that were all the same gauge that could output assignable MIDI signals, really opening up the sounds you could create with it.
Wait a minute. You're saying Gary Sinise was right? Just a taste. We talked about pro wrestling in there. We talked about mana, excuse me. We got a really great one about Zoom and Enhance. I love that episode.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's great. I can't wait to hear that one.
Where it came from. Anyway, the shows are going to be great. Curated, edited, awesome stuff. We have a producer. We have an editor. We have all kinds of stuff, and we have to pay those people. So if you want to help us out, support.currentgeek.com is where you'll go. That's support.currentgeek.com. All right. That's it. Vote for your titles and get ready because Brian's playing a song now. Brian, what are we doing?
Yeah, this one comes to us from Monica